Hello everyone, welcome to the Singapore Geospatial Week Plus 2020, an event that's organized by GeoWorks, Singapore's land authority for Geospatial Industry Centre. So today we are pleased to bring to you 2 weeks full of geospatial webinars spanning various industry tracks and international speakers. We are excited to introduce Uran and Debajit from AI Robotics today to share more with you on how geo-fenced premises can benefit from fully self-driving solutions. So if you have any questions during the webinar, please leave them in the Q&A chat box and we will answer them at the end of the webinar. Thank you, and without further ado, I will now pass the presentation to Debajit. Debajit, please.
Thank you, Hussein, and good afternoon to all. You have taken the time to hear about AI robotics technology. I am Debajit Das, as Hussein introduced. I'm the founder and CEO. I have had the opportunity to work with one of the most talented people around the world on building this exciting venture. Today, I am delighted to join with Uran, who is the Chief Operating Officer of AI Robotics Technology. Hi, Uran. And I would now briefly hand over to Uran to introduce AI Robotics Technology and then come back to share with you the demonstration going forward.
Thank you, Debajit. Good afternoon to everyone. Debajit, if you can share the presentation. Yes, I can see it. Thank you. AI Robotics is a Singaporean deep tech company that is 4 years old. We are very proud to be selected by GeoWorks as a technology company to work here. Today, our topic is how geo-fenced premises benefit from fully autonomous driving solutions. What you see on the screen is a warehouse with forklifts moving goods from one location to another. Every day, millions of repetitive driving tasks are done by humans. This is exactly why AI Robotics was founded, to provide fully autonomous driving technology to geo-fenced premises so that the humans can be released from repetitive driving tasks. So how do you define geo-fenced premises? It is any closed and controlled environment with clear traffic rules and repetitive driving operations. So how does an autonomous vehicle work? If you can move to the next slide. This is okay. Yeah, thank you. So autonomous vehicles rely on sensors, actuators, complex algorithms, and powerful processors to execute the software. It monitors and measures the surroundings based on a variety of sensors, including cameras, radar, LiDAR, ultrasonic sensors, situated in different parts of the vehicle. Expert algorithms then process all the sensory input, plot a path, and send instructions to the vehicle's actuators, which then control the acceleration, braking, and steering. So far, in AI robotics, we have successfully deployed use cases in 4 different environments, including a commercial contract in an integrated resort. So to share with you more details, the integrated resort offers a valet parking service, meaning you bring your own car to the hotel, give it to the valet parking driver, and then enjoy your shopping, dining, or theater. When you're ready to leave, you pay for the parking ticket and wait for your car to be brought back. For the valet drivers, when they drive down to the car park at the basement, there's always a golf buggy following them, just to wait for the valet drivers to finish their job and bring them back to the hotel lobby to do the next job. Now think about yourself as the golf buggy driver. Every day, all you are doing is just driving on a defined route up and down. So what AI Robotics did was to make the golf buggy drive autonomously. The auto buggy completed 10,000 trips without any safety incident or auto system disengagement. As a result, when manpower is released to do more creative and interactive job than driving for every shift. Other projects we completed including autonomous buggy for a golf course, autonomous vehicle live demonstration at the Intelligent Transport Systems World Congress at Marina Bay, and safety assessment test at CTRAN. CTRAN stands for Center of Excellence for Testing and Research of Autonomous Vehicles. We're the only company yet to be considered by the regulator for fully driverless trials in geo-fenced premises. Now I hand over to Debajit to talk about our use cases.
Thank you, Uran. As you heard, there are exciting opportunity to use a technology such as ours to take mundane, repetitive tasks that bores a human being and also saves resources for owners of fixed route repetitive movement. Let's take, for example, the integrated resort that Uran spoke about. So on the top row of this current slide is the middle photograph where we represent the hotel resort application. Similarly, there are, as we are now discussing, especially in the world where people are now starting paying more attention to contactless mobility, there are many applications that are arising out of users. Let me take one more example. Look at the middle section and the leftmost photograph on the use case slide. If you are traveling from a place to another place in an airport, you drop your luggage, the luggage goes through the carousel to the side of the airport building, and then it needs to be brought to the aeroplane. Now, this is a fixed route for most of it until the aeroplane side, and the person is going back and forth in that route all day long. If there was a technology mature enough, this is one such one, right? We would be able to then automate that, and the individual is relieved to do more creative and more human-like challenging tasks. And we can go on and on about variety of applications that are similar to this, like, for example, in warehouse, heavy industries, mines, and so on and so forth. Now, when you talk about, or anyone talks about introducing a technology which is bringing new things, we are going to compare it with what we have got. Now, in Singapore, we are all familiar with MRTs. And MRT is also a self-driving solution. And in this particular slide that currently you see in your screen, this is represented by what we are referring to as AGV, or automated guided vehicle. In automated guided vehicle, the characteristic is you actually lose the infrastructure to dedicate the infrastructure to the vehicle itself. Because on the MRT track, you cannot put anything else. And that is one characteristic, and it is limiting. The second exciting alternative that could be is, you may have heard about all the companies that are talking about robotaxis. What it is a training-based neural network solution where the computer is taught how to perceive the world around it. So apart from this being a decade or longer away, because there are many experimentations that are going on, but we are in very early stages when it comes to considering the maturity of the technology for commercial application. We are, few years away. Even then, if we compare ourselves with these AGVs or the future-looking technologies, you will find that the two important criteria that would be important for any user to adopt it would first be the safety, and therefore we'll need to make sure that our solution is as safe as the current alternatives are. And the second one would be the cost at which this is available. As you would see from the investment and the time for deployment, this deterministic autonomy that AI robotics is bringing to market is attractive. I take your attention, if you allow me, to investment, which is 1/10 of our current available alternative. And again, significantly cheaper, similar to, again, probably 7.5 to 10 times or 15 times cheaper than the other alternative. And we also have a rapid deployment window. So this is a promising technology for geofence applications nonetheless. Now, it is our intention to share with you 3 videos. I know on the latency of network connection, we may be compromised with the quality of the video. However, any specific interest that you might have, please do reach us out. We'll be happy to share more details. And in the next few minutes, actually next 5 to 7 minutes, I would take you through 3 short videos. Each of them are less than a minute long, with a less than a minute long introduction to the videos as well. And after that, the more exciting period where you please ask us questions and we'll be happy to answer anything that comes to your mind. So first, we will try to share with you the video where we had the integrated resort operation. I will play this now, and please let us know, host and anyone else, if this is playing okay, because we do know there are many various connections. This is taken in the integrated resort where it is tried to see how effectively.
Debajit. I don't see the video playing on the screen. It shows the video folder.
Okay, thank you. Is this playing better? Thank you for bearing with the latency of connection. This is, I know, is not the best, but currently this is what we can do with very large size files with so many interested audience like you on the watch. I would like to share some details about this video quickly. It is taken at an integrated resort, as Uran was sharing, and this was to trial how effectively the technology can be used on a task that is repetitive for mundane and for a human. Now, just to bring the buggy to a control room from the starting position. As we would have seen, we are observing the performance with the safety driver on board to take over, which is in compliance with the regulators, our LTA, Land Transport Authority in Singapore. Our technology was and is mature enough to have this driven, as Uran shared, thousands of times, actually more than 10,000 times we have done that successfully. No intervention was required and neither any unsafe incident. So this was the performance that I wanted to share with you. And now I will take your attention to another one, which is we talked about CITRAN, the Center of Excellence for Autonomous Transport and Research at NTU. And I would share with you again, please let me know if you can see it. So this is first this identification of a static obstacle. Let me take a pause in the video for a minute to explain. There's a dummy that is standing in front of the vehicle. It is to assess whether in CITRAN, under the testing condition, where again as per regulation, you got to have during the conduct of the test a safety driver on board. But any intervention will mean you are disqualified because there are GoPro cameras attached to the vehicle inside to observe whether any part of the safety driver's hands or legs touch the actuator. And there are people, as you would see, with the yellow jackets on, who are outside the, on the perimeter, on the pavement. They are observing, analyzing, and measuring how the vehicle behaves in given challenges. The first one was a static obstacle. It should come to a complete stop. As you would have seen, bearing with the latency issue, it goes, stops, but then it does that what is known as game of chicken in the world of driving. It tests out whether this static obstacle really moves. And that's the intelligence with our system. And we just did that. Now I'm going to play on and show you the trickiest test of all for AVs, a dynamic obstacle. And let me describe what I would like to bring your kind attention to. A dummy is brought at a very high speed from the right side of the vehicle in a way that one may think that this may or may not hit if the vehicle continues. And then suddenly it stops. So vehicle needs to have enough reaction and intelligence to react to real-time dynamic obstacle. So let me play on and you enjoy the performance of our vehicle. We are going over to the dynamic vehicle in now. Please observe the dummy that comes from the right and look at its speed. And that's what I am getting at. And of course, then there will be the inspectors that we mentioned. They will come and see what was the distance and how effectively the vehicle responded to it. I would have one more video, but instead of being mundane and boring in the presentation itself, let me give it back to host Vision, and why not let some questions come up, let us discuss them, and then we'll get back to the third video if time allows.
Hello everyone. Thank you Debajit and Uran for your presentation. So now we have a couple of questions inside the Q&A box, starting with the first question. How long and complex is the process to implement this, and what are the SLAs of the system?
Before I presume what is SLA, can I request the abbreviation to be a wrong meaning out of what is meant by SLA here? Because for us, SLA is Singapore Land Authority. So I think here we are.
I think the question was asked by Joseph.
Service level agreement, I would think.
Service level agreement.
Yeah, service level agreement, yes.
Yeah.
So first of all, yeah. And so the first one is, first part of the question is, how soon can it be implemented? We have trialed it in various conditions. However, for a commercial mass deployment, it is few tests and trials away in the specific use case. Now, when I say specific use case, because we are talking about a general technology that can be applied to various solutions. So if you're asking an application in warehouse, it's few months away. If you're asking in airport, it's a couple of weeks away from implementation, but several weeks may take for the regulators to become comfortable before it can be adopted in a mass scale. So we are currently very excited because we have, following the COVID-19 impact, several use cases that are at very advanced stages, and we should be able to announce under the regulations of the confidentiality and under which we are working, a few of those exciting and world-leading players that are going to adopt our technology. And I mean world-leading. We are very proud to be a Singaporean company going and solving for the first time some things that they may have tried before and could not find a solution as simple and as economic as ours, or they're curious about how we can complement our solution with what they have developed so far. In terms of service level, unless there is a commercial agreement, it is very difficult to explain, but with respect to your question, I should share with you that it is a software as a service. So what we are talking about is our insurance of no incident, and then on a payment of a, like for example, Microsoft Windows charges you $8 fee per month. We will provide you a technology that will replace your current solution with a fully self-driving solution, subject to regulators' approval. I hope I have answered that question.
Thank you, Debajit. So the second question is, if you are not using LiDAR sensors, how do the vehicles measure the distances to other objects, considering that camera depth estimation is not very precise?
Okay, I will hit the nail on the head. It's that the assumption that you made towards the end of the question that camera depth analysis is not precise. Well, you saw how the sit-run test was. It was not easy. And we have proven time and time again that our technology and our perception algorithm is safe enough to find the distance using cameras only. And I believe we are one of the two companies in the world that believes in without LiDAR. The other one is a very big and famous name. You would have heard about Elon Musk and Tesla because they're doing very well. Tesla doesn't use any LiDAR either. But their application is very different. They are working on a completely different application.
Thank you, Debajit. Does the audience have any more questions? We still have a couple of more minutes.
I have seen a question from Jimmy Tan. There's a long one and very detailed into it. Some thoughts really. So I think I will honor this question separately because I think it's pretty long, and I will respect and answer directly to you if that's okay with Jimmy.
I think there's another question from Kai Chuan. Kai Chuan wrote, for absolute positioning, how do we, number one, gather the positioning data? And number two, update the data on an ongoing basis? And number three, how do we push updated data sets to autonomous vehicles? Or do autonomous vehicles maintain a connection to query the positioning database only when the autonomous vehicles is in use?
Thank you, Kaichan. I think, again, there is a assumption made here that we would like to make sure we clarify first. We are edge computing, therefore our intelligence is sitting in the vehicle for positioning, absolutely. We have intelligence to understand what is a road, what is not a road. Whether there is an object in front of us that is blocking our way, and if we can safely negotiate that obstacle. That intelligence is sitting in the vehicle. We don't rely on continuous back and forth on data communication. As you would have seen and probably been as frustrated as I was, that the video doesn't play, even in one of the most developed countries in the world. Power latencies are not there to even communicate on video online webinar. Where is the question of driving a vehicle on its own through a computer? I don't see it until 5G is implemented widely. So therefore, that question that you have applies to fleet positioning. That means optimization of route when the vehicle is in motion. And we will tackle that for fleet, but we don't believe the vehicle can go on the road unless it has intelligence to be safe and know how to bring it to a stop safely.
So I think we have one final question from Mika. So Mika said that golf car is relatively safe to automate as it's not able to cause major damage even when crashing to something. So what kind of additional features do you expect will be needed once our technology will be implemented to heavy equipment or autonomous driving systems on airports where potential risks of collision are higher?
Thank you, Mika.
Let me answer the first part of this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mika, thank you. And your assumption about is easy and safer to operate golf buggies is absolutely wrong when we are operating in high-end 5-star integrated resorts, because all the cars that are parked in their basements are Porsche level and above, meaning the cars that are more expensive than Porsche. So the risk when we were operating the golf buggy there was if our vehicle lost any navigation or obstacle detection ability, there is a very, very high risk that the golf buggy will crash into, for example, a Bugatti. So in terms of vehicle, the damages to people, to vehicles in the same environment and the infrastructure, the risks we see are the same. So when we were building the fully autonomous driving technology, we first look at what's the reliability and safe level required for the operation, instead of building, can we just move the vehicle autonomously? So just to give you an example, when we were building the codes, we thought about how to stop first instead of how to move first. So I'll let Debajit answer the rest of the question. That's just my input.
No, thank you. I think in the interest of time, I don't know, we said, when do we need to close? We are already 2 minutes over
Yeah, I think you
over
can
time.
wrap
At the
up
same
with
time,
your
I think there are
comments.
some very exciting questions.
Yeah, I think you can wrap up with your comments
Okay.
for this question.
So I would, right. My comment is what kind of additional features would be required? We are vehicle agnostic because we are using camera and its intelligence to move. However, there will be hardware-wise more attachment required depending on whether the ignition needs to be switched off or on. So there will be some work additionally. But from an intelligence and execution of the intelligence to give a command to the vehicle to come to a stop or to carry on, that core engine is already built. So from a hardware standpoint, that's what we are working on, actually with one of the most prominent player in the industry. As we speak, we are fortunate to be on discussions with them this week. There will be one follow-up tomorrow. So we should be able to share with you very soon, not only a promise, but a real use case in airport with a manufacturer that manufactures those equipment. So thank you for asking. Thank you for your interest. Those who have asked the question, thank you. Those who have questions but did not find the time to ask, please do let us know. This is a new technology adoption and it's not going to be a cakewalk. There will be challenges along the way. And we are grown up to be aware of it, and we want to work together with users and people who would help us get there.
Thank you so much, Debajit, and thank you, Uran, for sharing more about the work that you do. So, because I think there are some questions that you have yet to answer, perhaps, Debajit, you can leave your contact info in the chat box so that if the attendees have any other questions, they can reach out to you directly. So for the rest of the attendees, thank you so much for tuning in to the webinar and for all the engaging questions. So before you go, we still have many other webinars for the rest of the Singapore Geospatial Week. Please scan the QR code to join in the conversation and also hashtag SGGeoWeek. So do sign up for the other events if you get to do so. And thank you, and we hope to see you again. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.